Good afternoon. We have Mr. Green here. Mr. Green, you hitchhiked from where? Pittsburgh to Dallas?
Actually, from New York City to Dallas, yeah.
How many days did it take?
It took around 2 weeks.
2 weeks. Where'd you sleep every night?
Actually, a week and a half because we got stuck in Dallas for a week.
Where'd you sleep every night?
Parts. Sometimes we had a tent with us, sleeping bags. If it was not too hot or if it was a good area. So we pitched a tent. One time we got kicked out by the cops somewhere in, I forgot what the city was called, the town was called, a little hick town, somewhere in Ohio. We got kicked out by the cops. So then we had to kind of, reassess our plans and see, what's the best places to pitch our tent.
So where'd you pitch your tent?
Too hot and stuff.
Where's the best places?
We realized that the best places usually are like in back of truck stops, where the trucks are blocking you, but there's still trees. So you're kind of in nature. But usually when you're in those kind of places, a lot of people are out there with their shotguns waiting for people to trespass. So that's one of the big reasons why we got kicked out. Because someone called on us, and it was private property. It was this big field, and we had no proof that it was private property.
So how many days did you actually travel? You said you were in Dallas for a week. So what was how many days from New York City to Dallas? Not how long you stayed in Dallas for.
Probably around a week and a half.
Week and a half of traveling.
I mean, no. Honestly, a week because we stayed a few days in Chicago. My uncle lives there, and we just visited.
So a week of traveling from Pittsburgh to Chicago to.
Yeah.
And what type of hit? How do you get hitches? What do you do? And how many hitches do you get a day usually?
How do we get hitches? A lot of the time, well, it was kind of split in half. So some of the time we would just put our hands out by the side of the road with our sign west, because that was our that was the goal, to get west as west as possible. We actually tried to get to through Las Vegas into LA, but because we got stuck in Dallas, actually, me and my friend decided that Dallas, Texas is officially the Bermuda Triangle of hitchhikers. So, evidently, because we got stuck there for a week, we literally for maybe 4 or 5 days were just out there at the truck stops trying to get rides. Most of the guys couldn't even give 2 flips about us. So, yeah.
So what was your rides?
Well, most of the rides were from ex-cons, the actual car rides. People wanted to give back to society. That's one of the things I was just telling you before, that eye-opening realizations about United States of America, that most Americans don't really care about you. And the foreigners, we had this religious Muslim guy, that his name is Abdirahim, that he took us from East Africa, and he said we asked him why did he pick us up. He brought us from somewhere in Ohio, Youngstown, Ohio, to inner city Chicago. He paid for tolls, 5 tolls he paid for us. And he was going actually more southern Illinois, but he took a detour. He took us right into this inner city of Chicago. Yeah, but it was just, we asked him why did he pick us up. He said, well, his family went through a lot of hardships and, immigrants, and his father had to walk 25 miles every single day to work and back. So he said he felt for his heart went out to us. No American would say that. No regular, white male Americans. No, honestly, I'm not really part of the woke community or any of that kind of stuff, but I do officially agree with Donald Trump that the borders have to be very secure, because what's going on in the southern border is really totally outrageous.
Where'd you sleep? Always outside, or you got some housing?
We didn't get any housing, although Reb Moshe just told us about this whole app or website, but I don't know, what is it, couch surfing. But we didn't know about that, and we just either we slept in motels, although we didn't have too much money on us. But our policy was we're not allowed to get any rides for any money. So the rides have to be totally free. That's why I consider the hitchhike to start in New York City, because we got a friend to drive us for free to Pittsburgh for a wedding. So that was for free. That's considered a hitch.
So you slept in motels?
Or back at truck stops, or random fields if we don't get kicked out.
Any good stories?
Any good stories?
We only slept 7 nights. It's only 7 nights you're talking about, right?
Yeah, but less, because there was maybe a night or two of that. But maybe it was like 3 nights we slept in the tent.
3 nights in the tent.
3-4 nights we slept in the tent.
There were interaction with any law enforcement?
Yes, many times.
Many times?
The first time, maybe, I would say 4 or 5 times. The first time we were in Pittsburgh, our friends dropped us off from Pittsburgh on the side of the highway or something. Brought us to the highway. And actually, they didn't want to bring us onto the highway. They just brought us like a little bit to like 7-Eleven, and we walked onto the highway, onto where there's this exit, and like the exit comes into the highway. So this time it was 2 exits coming on So it was like an exit coming onto this exit, and then that exit, you know, those two exits going onto the highway. We just like plopped ourselves right in the middle right there with our thumbs out with a sign west or Chicago or whatever. We were in Pittsburgh, so that's like, what is it, 7-8 hour ride. And there were a bunch of Karens just smiled at us. We're like, we don't want you to smile. We don't want your nice American polite smile. We want to ride. And they were like, oh, I don't know. They didn't have enough time to. Sometimes we would try to stop the cars and be like, hey, you want to take us to? And we kind of had some fun. And then obviously an hour or two later, the cops showed up and they're like, we got some calls from some Karens. So they didn't say Karens, but that's probably where they got the calls from. And they kicked us off, and they were quite rude actually. And we're like, oh well, we didn't know that we're not supposed to be on the highway with our thumbs out blocking traffic. You know, we didn't know that. Well, how should we know that? You know. So they let us go outside, you know, the actual system of the interstate highway. So we went right off the exit, and then our spirits were kind of like broken. Like, I was still in a good mood. My friend was like, "Hey, this thing is over. This is crazy. We're not gonna get any rides." As soon as he said that, maybe 2 minutes later, a car showed up, an ex-con. His name is Joe, our homie Joe, picked us up. He's like, "Where you guys going?" West. He's like, "Okay, I'll take you a few miles." Took us maybe 10 miles, and then he dropped us off at the exit over there. And then maybe we waited for another hour, 2 or 3. It was getting close to Shkia, and we're like, okay, as soon as Shkia hits, we'll pitch our tent. Literally 5 minutes later, probably, this ex-con actually, a really, really great guy, his name is Trey, and he, great guy, just a really great guy, very warm heart. He was going the opposite direction, and he's like, where you guys going? He's like, we're going west, opposite direction. He's like, you know what, I'll take you 5 minutes. And it's out of his way. We got into this crazy conversation. We connected to him like crazy. And he's like, you know what? He ended up taking us 45 minutes. He paid for a toll. For free, just paid for a toll. Yeah, so one of the very amazing things I learned is that there's a lot of good people in the world. There's still hope. But outside the status quo, outside the norm. So if you're someone who had a rough start, or you're a foreigner, or you're religious, any religion, or like just, I don't know exactly, anything weird about you, then you're probably going to pick us up, or you're a lot more prone to pick us up. If you're a regular American that has just the amazing, luxurious life of an American that goes to Mexico every, you know, that kind of like, I'm joking, no, actually, the Franks actually are very, very good people, even though they actually, you know, go to Mexico every once in a while, but they're very, very good people, I have to say. They're the exception of this rule. So yeah, if any Franks are listening to this, you should know that. Shout out to you. But that's something I learned, that people who go through rough times like to give back, reciprocate to society. So